Yes, ma'am.
Governor DeSantis, we see the numbers, we see the straw polls. We know that you were running for governor. When will you decide whether to run for president?
I don't do straw polls. They just put my name in these things, it's just like, so, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Like, they sell merchandise and everything. I kind of like to get royalties on that. So we've got a lot more stuff that we're doing here. And so we're, obviously, this budget was a huge thing. It took us a long time to analyze every little line item. These individual line items, when you go through it, it'll be in there. You don't necessarily know why it was there. Sometimes the legislator will say, here's why they did it. You got to look at the track record and all that stuff. So my staff did a great job analyzing all this, and of course we had to make decisions about some of these items, and we've been able to have I think really good budget. We did slim it down because it needed to do that, but I think we're in really good shape.
Just to follow up, are you considering running?
I've addressed this so many times, so go ahead.
Governor, developing right now, there are reports out that say your spokeswoman, Christina Pushaw, registered as a foreign agent. Do you have any response to this?
She's right behind you, so you can ask her. I have no idea. So, I mean, I think that
I love it.
no, but I mean, look, I think you have some of these media outlets, like these legacy outlets in out of D.C. and New York, and anybody that's standing up and fighting back, which she has done, they want to smear, and so they will do hit pieces, and that's just how they do. And you know what? That doesn't work anymore because nobody in the public believes they're garbage.
That's right.
Governor, are you considering a special legislative session, perhaps dealing with constitutional carry, and then also Anthony Sabatini called for an emergency special session to ban drag shows in front of children? Yes.
Well, I think on the latter, so I've asked my folks to look. I mean, we have child protective statutes on the books. We have laws against child endangerment, and I think this came out of you. You had this Dallas, Texas. You had these very young kids, and they must have been like 9, 10 years old, at a, quote, drag show where they were putting money in the underwear of this, and that is totally inappropriate. That is not something that children should be exposed to, and so we may have the ability to deal with that if something like that happens. There's also very graphic language in that thing, and people got a lot of video and a lot of stuff from it, and I think that was really disturbing. And like, look, we want to have our kids be kids, okay? They want to have normal environment. Part of the reason why we did we fought the fight with parents' rights in education is because there's a movement to inject these things like gender ideology in elementary schools even. And my view is our schools need to be teaching these kids to read and write and add and subtract and do the things what it's supposed to be done in school. Injecting these agendas into it is wrong, and that's why we did the Parents' Rights in Education bill. But when you see those images, Texas isn't exactly known to be San Francisco. I mean, it's a relatively conservative state culturally, and to see that was not something that was. So we do have some. So we're going to look to see what could be done under existing statutes. But I do think targeting these kids with all this stuff. It used to be kids would be off limits. It used to be everybody agreed with that, and now it just seems like there's a concerted effort to be exposing kids more and more to things that are not age appropriate. And I think our state in Florida, we need to be a family-friendly state. We need to be a good state for people to be able to raise a family, get a high-quality education, have a lot of opportunities without having some political agenda shoved down their throats.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of people have pointed to Florida as to how they should have responded to what happened in Texas. Do you believe that Republicans in Congress should follow Florida's lead and raise the age to purchase?
Well, I think that actually has been ruled unconstitutional even in California, and so I'm not sure that that is ultimately, and that was the issue I had with it when I was running. But I think if you look at what we've done with school security in Florida, with this budget now, we'll have done close to $750 million just since I've been governor on school security. And so you saw with Parkland, I think one of the things, and we work with a lot of the Parkland parents. I mean, people like Ryan Petty, Andy Pollock, all that, and the failures of both law enforcement and the school system, I think were really, really difficult, because obviously you don't want to see anything happen, but if something could have been prevented by holding this guy accountable when you had all these different opportunities to do it and you don't, that's a problem. And so we wanted to make sure that we were providing the resources necessary so that these are not going to be good places to go. If you're one of these nut jobs, just know if you try that, you're going to end up on your ass, and it's not going to end up being pretty, and you're not going to walk out of there alive. So. So we've done that, and I think we've really led the way on focusing on making our schools safe. I think we've also done a lot with mental health, and that spans a variety of things. I mean, traditional mental health is just people going through normal things in life. They're not a danger to the community, most people that need mental health services. But you do have some people that are really just off their rocker, and you need an intervention when you have that. I mean, honestly, they used to have people would go to these insane asylums, and it was something that these are folks that couldn't function in society. They were a danger to the community, and then they were basically committed. We've kind of deinstitutionalized that now, so you really need to have a concerted effort to be able to have interventions to identify some of the people who are not safe to be around the community. And it can involve firearms, but it can involve way more ways where these folks can be able to harm. And so these types of people who are doing things, targeting kids, targeting innocent people, they are really, really bad people. They are not typically, they're not dumb because they pick their targets and they know, and the Buffalo guy said he wanted to go where he knew there wouldn't be blowback from people being armed, and so he tried to find a gun-free zone. So they do analyze it like that, but they have something that's wrong with them that would cause them to do it, and most of the time there will be signals that this is somebody that's not with it. And I know Carmine, they've worked very aggressively to be able to identify these types of threats. But when you're dealing with it, what you do is you focus on the criminal. You focus on the lunatic. You don't kneecap the rights of law-abiding citizens.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Governor, here's the beer.
What's that?